I want to take you, I want to talk now about the final chapter of The Handmaid's Tale, the kind of speech given by a male academic at the end of the 22nd century, looking back at The Handmaid's Tale from a totally privileged, sexist male perspective. A lot of things are going on here. And this is central to how we read the entire novel. First of all, it makes everything before it a kind of found document, and puts in context how Alfred maybe created this narration. It is an uncannily accurate version of a certain kind of academic talk, down with the bad sexist jokes. I would say the bad sexist jokes were more, this particular kind of bad sexist joke was more endemic in 1985 than it is in 2020, simply because women scholars were less endemic in the academy, and so it's harder to do this. But like those jokes seem totally familiar to me, in their crassness and their harassment. So now we're enjoying last night we enjoyed our charming Arctic char, and now we're enjoying our charming Arctic chair. I use enjoy in two different senses, not the but leaving out the obsolete third ha 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 pun on having sex with the female scholar who just introduced him. Pia Soto is jackass. And it continues like that. The Underground Railroad, the tailbone joke, the bone of contention, all these little sniggering sexist jokes, which show that Pia Soto, at least, and his audience, who are often noted as laughing or plotting, have learned nothing. The end of this novel suggests that at least the male academics have learned nothing, which is the most startling ending we have. We had the happy ending of we're relieved to hear that that Ofra got at least as far as Maine, but we find out that whatever her sacrifice, whatever her loss, the scholars who rediscovered her work are not interested in it. Pia Soto actually says, what will we give for even 20 pages of printout from the commander's computer? He is interested in the great man theory of history, not interested in the person whom the commander serially, ritually raped. One of the things that happens here is the general attitude taken towards Gilead by Pia Soto is exactly the attitude taken by many 20th century male academics towards the 17th century Massachusetts Puritans. We've come round full circle, where it's if Gilead and the Commanders is the return in some imagined way of just the original DNA of American Puritanism and that form of theocracy, brought back pretty much unchanged by a lot of historical changes, by historical transformations, like happening in the place where it originally happened, not in the place where it's more likely to happen, considering what's gone on in the last few hundred years. Nonetheless, the same attitude is taken by the future scholars towards that future as 20th century scholars took to the Prince. We have to understand them. We can't judge them. We shouldn't judge. There's the excuse for the sexism. We can't judge them. We have to take this non-moralizing thing. Like, in other words, making common cause with the misogynist theocracy, which leaks out everywhere with Pia Soto. Note how he puts certain words in quotations, including words like Americans. The scare quotes say that certain narratives, okay, like Americans is not a real term to Pia Soto, right? Gilead is never put in quotes. He is fascinated by the commander, doesn't give a damn about Offred, takes sides against her, claims that doubts her where it says, claims at one point, accuses her of a malicious fabrication, by claiming the false names in the text. Silverina Joy isn't a real name, so it seems like a malicious fabrication. These are Pia Soto's words. Then admitting that in fact there is a historical figure who in fact had exactly the career that Offred describes as kind of a politically active TV personality before becoming relegated to mere wifehood in Gilead. in some ways, the future is here a parody of the 20th century sexist approaches to our sexist past, which not only don't refuse to reckon with the sexism and historical past, but are making common cause with it and laughing and joking and winking and nodding along with it. You know, making the joke about Offred's tailbone um, is making a joke of the theft of her children, her repeated ritual rape. Um, what is funny about that? To Pia Soto, something, and he gets applause. And the last words of this novel are, "Any questions?" um, the last words are a male authority figure who has erased all the female agency, being the one who's going to be the explainer. He's also from Cambridge University in England. The name Cambridge, Massachusetts has been elided from the novel. It's ceased to be um, the name of that place. It's only the name of the original, the OG Cambridge, after which Cambridge, Massachusetts was named. So there's been a kind of full circle here, and it's enormously damning. In fact, every time I read that final chapter, it comes across more effectively because the satire and the political commentary is right down there, deep in the bones of every single sentence.